So I am here at Freshworks headquarters in San Mateo with Zak Brown, CEO of McLaren Racing. It's amazing to have you here, so thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I want to go all the way back. I saw that you kind of got your start racing by going on Wheel of Fortune. So you could tell us about the Wheel of Fortune, and then that led to karting in some way.
Yeah, that was a non-traditional start in motor racing. I was on Teen Week. They went around to all those schools. I'm originally from Los Angeles. And my buddy Monty Smith, who I played baseball with, said, hey, we should go try out for it. And it was quite a process, and probably 3 or 4 different times we had to come together, thousands of kids, and make a long story short, got on, won the first 2 rounds, and you kind of went for the top thing you could afford. And as it came out of my mouth was 6 his and her watches, going, what do I want those for? But they became handy because I had been to the Long Beach Grand Prix in 1981, which was my first Formula One race. Went back in 87, met Mario Andretti, asked him, how do you get started in racing? He said, karting. That would be a little ad in the race program. Thought, well, I can't talk my parents into that. But I'd go sell these watches at a pawn shop in Van Nuys and go get started. And so that's how the racing career got started.
That's awesome. And then you raced for years in various different formats. Later on, when you became CEO, what were some of the lessons that you learned as an athlete, as a racer, that you use today?
Quite a lot, if you think about, and this will all resonate with you. So as a racing driver, you need to be great at communicating, which is both talking and listening. Your engineers, your team. You need to have the best technology because we use race cars. You need to know risk versus reward. You need to know great teamwork. And, you have data that we're living by, but you have to use racer instinct, business instinct. So I've found being a racing driver is almost identical to being CEO, just probably a little safer.
Right. Right. And you went on, you were an entrepreneur, and then eventually you wound up at McLaren Racing as the CEO. And when you came in, the long arc of history, McLaren's kind of in the genesis of the sport, super successful, but in recent years prior to your joining had not been as successful. Tell me about the first couple of years, and what were the challenges that you saw? What were some of the things that you did to get back on the path to winning?
I think, it's the second most historic racing team in Formula One, over 200 wins, over 20 championships, et cetera, et cetera. And, but we'd lost our way, and there was really a kind of lack of leadership, a lack of direction of the team, which then manifested itself in, we had record low partnerships. This great iconic team had the biggest and best brands in the world. That was not where it should be. Our fans were very grumpy because we were 9th in the championship. Our employees, our teams wasn't a great place. I don't think we were looking after them. There was a lack of trust and transparency. And as I say, everything other than that was great. And so the first thing I did was tackle the people side because we're in the people business, even though we're very much in the technology business. It's, like you, the people that make the biggest difference on how to use the technology. And then the commercial side of the sport is something I've always been very comfortable with and have enjoyed, because when I stopped racing, I then did that for 20 plus years. So it was, how can I get re-engaged with the fans? That's when we went to our iconic papaya colors. How do we then get partners believing that we're going to get back to where we are? And that was something I was very comfortable with, which once you start getting that going, the team starts to get excited. That starts building trust. You can start investing in great drivers and wind tunnels and CFD and all the technology that we need. So it was all about reversing this downward momentum that we had. And then once it got going, the snowball picks up its size, if you like, as it goes downhill. And then from then, we went from in 23 having the worst car on the grid to 24 winning the world championship, which was the quickest turnaround. And it was people made the biggest difference.
Right. And part of it also is the technology and investing in innovation.
Definitely.
It's hard to get people to innovate when they're down, right?
Correct.
So how did you get that spirit of innovation back in the team, especially around technology? It's such a highly technical sport now.
It is. Our group of individuals love technology. There's different people who get excited about different things, but, at McLaren and in Formula One, you love technology. We also have this kind of constant pressure on ourselves to try and be perfect, but you're never perfect. You can always make the car faster. The driver can always do a better lap. So getting a culture where everyone's just grinding out, getting a little bit better today than they were yesterday. How can technology play a big role in that? Embracing technology. We're on the cutting edge, so we use tomorrow's technology, not yesterday's technology. And once you get everyone rowing the same direction, and then learning by mistakes, in the technology business, a lot of the times it's that didn't work, that didn't work, that worked. So it's actually a series of kind of failures that lead you to the right answer. And if you can get a group of people that embrace that, learn from the mistakes, don't make the same one twice, that's how you end up innovating.
Now, you have some of the most innovative partners in the technology industry kind of on your roster, right? You have Dell, you have Dropbox, you have us. How do you think of your technology partners as contributing to the team? How do you identify partners you might want to work with? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we have kind of two types of partners. We have, call it consumer brands, and where they add a tremendous amount of value is on fan engagement, bringing in fans, more newer fans, et cetera. And then our B2B partners, and they're helping us make our race team better, whether that race team's at the track, at the factory, whether that's operational efficiency, whether that's security, whether that's innovating on the race car. So that's very much where you come into play. I mean, if you think about our world and our appetite for IT, it's absolutely off the charts. We're running 50 million simulations a race weekend. Yeah. We're pulling down 1.5 terabytes of data, over 300 sensors on the racing car. So we need partners. 20 years ago, you were kind of selling stickers on cars. Yeah. And it was like, hey, we can help make you famous, and here's some hospitality. The sport has now evolved, especially with our technology partners, where they're integrated in our business. We solve solutions together. We help promote how we work together. And so that's critically important, that we couldn't go racing without our partners being integrated into the business.
Yeah, I mean, for every race, so Las Vegas is coming up this weekend, you have to set up basically an IT operation on site that has to work perfectly. It has to get the data back to your HQ where you've got teams there the entire time analyzing it. It's an amazing technology challenge. And think about, like, most of our companies, our customers, their average IT department doesn't face anything like that. Yeah. It's an amazing challenge for your IT teams to make it all work. A network can't go down. Things that are fairly simple in an office environment have to work.
We can't start our race car without our whole IT infrastructure, right? It's not a key and a button anymore. It's a laptop.
Yeah.
And so all the communication, we're 24 races around the world. You're right. We've got, we're 1,000 people.
Yeah.
We're running simulation at the factory. We have, 60, 70 people in mission control. So if you think of NASA, space shuttles up there, or the rockets up there, right? You got stuff going on in Florida and Texas.
Real time, off the track, all the data, all that stuff.
And it's immense. And we have to be bulletproof, because if our data were to go down, or IT were to go down, we're literally out of business. So for us, it's our oxygen, it's life and death, if you'd like, in our world, that our structure works. And we're flying to all, as you mentioned, we're 24 Grand Prix. So, one weekend we're Australia, the next weekend we're in China, next weekend we're in Austin. And so the mobility aspect of it is off the charts.
Yeah, I mean, all of your technology partners, they have to provide bulletproof solutions that operate in this extremely high stress environment. And that's why we're excited to be working with you.
For us, if I went to my technical team and said, hey, we're going to do this sponsorship, and it wasn't best in class technology, forget it. Reality is my technical team, whether that's around IT or data or design, they don't want to know about anything other than best-in-class technology. Otherwise, we're compromising the racing team, and it's a false economy. So when we're approaching partners, especially in the technology space, the first test is this best-in-class technology? And if it's not, forget it. There isn't a second conversation.
That's really cool. So now you've won the Constructors' Champion twice.
Yep.
How do you keep the team focused? Because there's got to be so many distractions the first time, that after the first time you win it, how did you keep the team focused in this year, and how do you keep them focused now for next year?
We hate to lose, and I think there's two different types of people in this world. Those people that are motivated by the thrill of victory, those people that are motivated by the fear of defeat. That's me. The race team has a combination of everything.
Yeah.
But for me, we love winning, but we really hate losing. So it's pretty easy in our sport, some interesting stats. If you take the car that qualified first at the beginning of the year and it was untouched, by the end of the year, it would be last. So there is no room in this sport for complacency, sitting still, or even walking, because everyone else is in a full sprint. And so that keeps everyone motivated. The rules are changing all the time. Next year's the largest regulation change in modern day Formula One. That has us excited, and then has me a little bit nervous, but that's a good, nervous, exciting energy when you're trying to break ground. And the worst team in Formula One is really good. Our whole industry is separated by 2%. So we live in milliseconds. And so we just, it's a culture. It doesn't take much to motivate the team. I'm lucky. They're very motivated. I think I help bring focus and make sure that I give them the tools and resources they need. I feel, I'm sure you're the same, as CEO, I can't do the wonderful job of 1,400 people. I need to make sure that I'm getting the best out of them. So I feel like I'm here to serve the team as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah, it's interesting. The competition does not sit still.
Not at all.
From year to year, from week to week in your business. It's true in my business.
For sure.
Right? We've got AI. I'd like to tell the team here that we compete with about $1 trillion in market cap. That's the size of our top 5 competitors if you stack them all up together. And we have to be that much better if in every single sales interaction, anytime that we're talking to a customer, if we want to continue to win.
Yeah.
100%. And it's
not easy.
It's not easy, but it's very clear, and people, they understand what it's going to take, and then they get out there and do it. So it's fun to see.
And very rewarding.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when you win.
When you win. Yeah. So one last question for you. Tell me about where you see McLaren in a couple of years. What's your vision for where this team could be?
I think we want to continue to stay, with or ahead of the technology curve, if you can stay ahead of it, or at least get the surfboard and be riding the big waves, because that's how we make our race cars faster. That's how we make better strategy decisions. That's how we design a better race car. And then with our fans, just getting them as close as we can to feeling like they're in papaya and part of the team, because for us, at the end of the day, without fans, there's no Formula One, there's no McLaren. So I want to take care of our racing team and their families. We live on the road, and so making sure everyone feels that they can operate at peak performance. So, when do you bring the family along? How do you get them involved? How do you recharge batteries? You can't just be flat out all the time, but you can't also lift for very long.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Zak, thank you so much again for coming to Freshworks. Really excited to have you, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.